What an interesting week. This week, and the reason why I'm looking up there is because I'm already channeling and connecting to my light beings through my heart to give you a message, a summary of last week and what I learned and what I can share as a service that can give you maybe some direction in your life. And before I share that, I want to tell the story about myself. When I went through different processes to be initiated as as an ancient Indian shaman. And one of those was everything started when I was in my house here in the United States. And then I had this strong feeling inside of me, like the feeling where you have in your stomach that you're hungry and you need to go and get something to eat. It was in the same way. Body gives you messages, right? So I had this message that I need to go back to Peru for another training. And it was going to happen in Tiahuanaca, which is actually Peru and Bolivia in Titicaca Lake. Most of my trainees, I don't know what to expect and what's going to happen. And this time was not different. So I got to Juliaca and then Puno, and then I stayed in a hotel. And the next morning, I was guided to with a tourist guide to get to Pumapunca, Tiwanaco, which is in Bolivia. So in my way there were so many things that were going through my mind, but then I knew it was not my mind that was going to guide me into what was going to happen there, but it was my heart. And while I was in Pumapunca, I met this man who was also a healer or a shaman, and he came from a very ancient culture as well. We had lived, even though we were not the same energies, but we had very, very similar goals into what we're here for to create in this reality, right? And we had a conversation, and this conversation, he was to the point that he said to me, remember to follow your heart. And so that was a short message, but it had a lot of meaning. So when I went to the site of Pumapunca, I'm sorry, Tiahuanaco, it was raining. It was raining, and because the rain was so strong, people, the tourists left from there, and even the tourist guide. So we were able to get in, and literally nobody was there. But I knew I had to stay there, right? There's a reason why it was raining so hard. And I climbed a mountain, which I consider a mountain, but actually it was a pyramid. And on top of it, there was an Inca cross. And I stood next to it, and I looked up into the sky, and I saw the lightning and the power and the energy of the storm going through different directions. And for just one instant, I saw that these energies got together from different areas to one specific point. There were like at least 4 or 5 different ways how the energy rotated and got together on the sky. And while I was looking at that, energy came into me. So that's kind of what I consider what it is to be. I was hit by lightning, right? So in this process of this experience, I was able to get back to the car, but I didn't know how intense was the burning inside of me with this strong energy, electromagnetic energy that went in, that it was not until the next day I couldn't walk and I couldn't eat until later in the afternoon. I still remember I was by myself. I still remember baby steps going to the restaurant and lifting slowly the spoon to have some soup for the night. But during that day, I was having a connection with the person that I met before, this ancient teacher. He was probably in his 60s. And I can see that we kept going through this tunnel that was under Tiahuanaco. But nobody had found a tunnel at the time. It was not until a year after that somebody found that tunnel, that me and him were having energetic experience into that space. To make this long story short, my body, my molecular behavior changed And what I got from that day is that if I have not been in my heart, there is no way I could have experienced what I have experienced, because it was the connection of my heart that allowed me to receive these energies into information that was able to allow me to understand energy more in ways of movements as well as colors, in the sense that I understood that we have everything that we do in our daily life. Our body is decoding, it's like a computer, it's like, and it's storing that information. And we storage our choices, and we storage what we are in the moment. And that's why I think it was beautiful this week, because it was a reminder, because I was just thinking about that experience, that we have a choice. We can storage blocks and limiting beliefs, or we can storage frequencies of the future. So it was very clear to me this week that it's so much better when you're in your heart and you let the past go and just move forward. And by moving forward into these new frequencies, my life being wants me to explain this in a different way. So one of the things I start observing with my mind is that the past, the present, and future are frequencies that we are giving the understanding to it according to the experience that we storage in each one of those sections of a fragment of linear time. So when we're storing information in the past, is unfinished information that we keep going to the past to finish that. But the truth is that the past does not have any, there's no way to solve a situation if we go to the past without the guidance of the possibility of the future. So, which is what we create circular time, where we let the past go and we create a new reality into the present, moving forward into the future, following your heart. And in that, you will find the solution to delete or to complete what was not completed in the past. So it was very interesting that by having these trainings, it allowed me to understand that the frequency of the past can stop existing, and only you can be in your conversation or circular time, which is your beauty in the present, and what you can reflect with that beauty of who you are in the present to connect to the future, to create more realities that can give you the feedback or the manifestation that you're looking for in your heart. So he wants me to tell you again that if that moment that I got the advice from that moment that I was going into the future, into the site, I had not been in my heart, there was no way I would probably have that experience. But because it was my choice that chose to go into my energies of love, my heart and my feelings, and I acknowledge that, I was able to have that experience. And the next day I was able to be trained in another reality, which was the underground records of light that are stored in the site of that place. As a consequence, I was able to read the frequency of corn. I was able to read the frequency of rocks. I was able to read the frequency of, to understand human behaviors from the perspective of the molecular behavior, not the DNA behavior, but molecular behavior, which is atoms, electrons, protons, and neutrons, and be able to change behaviors that connect us from the past to the past, so we can let them go. So if you ever need my service, I'm more than happy to assist you in clearing some of those different blocks and limiting beliefs that are hard to clear because we spend too much time in our mind. So remember to be in your heart, and I just want the best for you. So you have a wonderful day.